I've got this original Dino seat that is out of the low mileage Dino that's currently getting painted. And I wanted to see whether or not we can actually work on these seats. Um, Dinos came from the factory with vinyl or leather seats. It was an option. And this car came with leather seats. So it originally, and this is still has its original leather upholstery, which is in really, really good shape, except for one problem, or a couple problems. But the main problem is that the stitching is starting to pull. And the reason for that is, I mean, leather shrinks and it tends to get brittle and hard. And what also happens is that the thread that they use starts to get old and rotted. So what it does is it gets weaker and weaker, and the stress of the stretching and the moving and the seat in and out will cause the thread to just tear. And the owner asked whether or not it was possible to fix this. And I'm going to take this center section out and see whether or not it's possible. It may or may not be. I mean, I'd like to try to save it because these seats are so nice. I mean, they really is they're amazing seats, but it's just a shame that the thread is pulled. I don't think they've torn, because the problem with leather and thread is that the stitching, it's like, perforating paper. It's like you cut holes, and then that allows it to tear right along the stitch edge. So it's impossible to sew it, because what ends up happening is you just create more holes on the same line, weakening the leather even more. What I want to do is see whether it's possible to take this apart and restitch the seams by hand. It's going to take a little bit more work, but that's kind of the process that you have to kind of go through. But first things first is to get this center cushion out. On this car, the other issue that we have is the usual foam issues, which is the foam is deteriorating. As you can see, it's all dry rotted and crumbling. And also the straps are all stretched out, and when the owner's sitting in this car, he's probably just sitting right on the floor. The good thing is I have straps, I can replace it. I think I'm going to replace some of this foam, see what we could do to rebuild it. But first things first, I got to take this center cushion out. So I cut all the hog rings out that were securing this bottom cover. And what I love about original cars is that you see like stampings like this. It says Vamul crushed grain. So that looks pretty original, but I also love this like funny texture fabric that some kind of textile they put on the inside of this. But I'm going to flip this over and see what else I can do as far as taking this off of the back here. All right, let me show you what I found. As you can see, the foam is in pretty bad shape. This is that common crumbling foam that happens inside here. Whatever's been exposed to the air just crumbles. There are also signs that someone's tried to repair this by securing a couple pieces of strap in here, but this stuff is pretty well just lost its elasticity or strength, so it's really kind of sagging. So I'm going to try to replace these. All right, well, this is what I found inside. So I was able to take this cover off, and underneath there's a Velcro that kind of pulls the center down, and then it has all this textile material inside that's making the pleats. So what I'm thinking about doing is actually getting a curved needle and trying to catch some of these threads and re-secure them by hand, and maybe that'll hold it. Unfortunately, I think a lot of this may pull anyway, but at the high stress areas if I could secure them, maybe it'll hold it together to keep the other places. A lot of times like this center section pulls because either people put a knee on it or they put something on it, and that's what stretches it beyond what the thread can hold. So what I'm hoping to do is re-sew that seam by hand by getting behind this and then sewing it in each thread through the same holes. And then what I'd like to do is cover this bottom piece, take off all the really loose stuff, and then put a piece of foam in here and glue it in, and then put new strapping in here, and then secure that. It won't raise the height of the seat that much, because I'm hoping that when I remove some of this, I'll probably end up removing about a 1/4 inch or so about foam, and then when I add back a 1/4 or 3/8 inch foam back underneath and then re-secure it to the new webbing, it won't really add that much height, but it'll give you a little bit more firm support. The reason why I'm not replacing this whole foam section, I'm trying not to take the whole seat apart. And the reason behind that is because if I have to take it apart, this whole center section will come out. But what that would mean is I would have to take this back panel off. And these back panels are riveted in place. And, I kind of really like the originality. And the seat back is not that collapsed. So what I'm trying to do is restore the seat a little bit without really getting too far into it. But making the seat more comfortable at the bottom cushion side, and see where we can go. But let's see what happens. All right, well, the gaskets arrived. Or at least let's hope they're matching. So I got these from T. Rutland's, which is a pretty big Ferrari supplier here in the States. But I did some research on this gasket issue that I talked about last week. And these gaskets come from one supplier in the UK. And what's happened is, so here you go. These are correct, and they have this stamp on them, says Mar Parts, which is Maranello Parts, and they basically are purchased from a company in England that makes these gaskets. And what happened was they come in this beige color, and for some reason one of them has, there's another supplier that makes green ones. I don't know where the green ones come from. But what happened was somehow there's an excess of the other one, and this supplier, T. Rutland's, had also green and tan ones in stock. And I called them up and says, well, you got to have, you used to sell these. I bought these before in this beige color. But why is it that now you don't have a pair of them? So luckily I know the guys, and he went into the warehouse and was able to find one last set of a pair of matching gaskets. So he went ahead and sent them to me. So luckily for now, putting this engine together, I have matching gaskets. But the next set, I think he had like 1 or 2 more sets that were matching, and then that was it. Then he'd have to go to the beige and the tan ones, mismatched. And I actually know the guys at Maranello Parts. So I actually called them and said, so what's the deal? And they said, well, this is partially tariff issues. You can buy them from Maranello or Maranello Parts in the UK, but the unfortunate thing is the tariffs have gotten so expensive that a lot of the suppliers in the States have started supplying their own, or they found another way to get them, but they're green. So they're not, whatever the reason, I'm not sure what the timing was. Were the green ones available, or the green ones were purchased for a while and then they were able to get the beige ones? But whatever the case is, right now Maranello stocks these beige ones. You have to buy them from the UK. These were purchased by T. Rutland's, and they had the green ones available, or they also had green ones, but now they have more green ones than they have these beige ones, so they're going to try to sell their green ones as well. But so there's a good chance that they're going to be mismatched, and I think that's what other suppliers are doing. There's only so many suppliers that make these, and right now Maranello makes them, and they're available in this color. But the problem with that is that you have to buy them from the UK. The tariffs are at least 15% coming in from the UK. So you're going to pay 50% more to get new gaskets from the UK coming into the States. So you either get mismatched ones and pay 15% less, or you're just going to have to pay more and get them to match. So I guess, being a little anal is going to cost you money. Doing the right thing for your customers so everything looks right is also going to cost you money. I don't even want to get started about how expensive everything's gotten as far as parts coming in from around the world, but that's for another day. But right now, I have a pair of gaskets. I can put these on here. I don't have to lose sleep at night about non-matching gaskets, and that's good. I thank everybody for commenting on the last video about this. I think most of you agree. Some people think it was a little crazy to have to worry about it, but I kind of feel like, two things. One is that it's all about the details. And if I can't get the gasket color right, if I can't get that, then what does that say to me as far as a mechanic and the level of detail that I want to attain with these cars? If gaskets don't mean a lot to me, then what else does not mean a lot to me about putting these engines together? The other issue that we have is that people were saying, make your own gaskets. Well, this takes a ton of gasket material when you look at how big these gaskets are. And if I had to make these from a gasket cutting machine, I'd have to get a pretty large one. I know there are machines, these Cricut machines that I've seen that can make small gaskets, and you can, scan them, and it looks like a really great possibility. But the machine to make this gasket set is much larger. And so the cost benefit of doing that to me might not be worth it. Unless you guys do this and know how much this is and how much it would cost, it doesn't seem like it would be worth it to me, especially since you have to buy the whole gasket this size and then cut these two little gaskets out. It seems to be a big waste of gasket material. I know this is why these things cost, but these are $150 already. So, I don't know how much cheaper you're certainly not going to get them any cheaper, and it may cost the same amount of money. The main thing is just to make sure you have the suppliers. At the end of the day, I may spend the same amount of money in material costs and purchasing of machines and all that other time, and time spent learning how to use a machine and cutting them, that it just doesn't really pay. It would be another skill set that I could learn and do, but again, it really comes down to what am I doing every day as far as trying to just make a living. So buying the stuff and just passing on the cost to my customers is just kind of the way it's going to be. I don't see me saving them any money or saving myself any money and time by doing it myself. That's kind of like the struggle every day with these parts. Like, what do you try to save your customer money, but then you're not really saving yourself any money. In fact, you're wasting time and money of your own to try to save a few dollars, when at the end of the day, this is just what it costs to do this kind of stuff, especially limited production. I've always said that if I really wanted to make a ton of money, I'd be working on Mustangs. I wouldn't be working on Ferraris, because there's just not a lot of these cars out there, and so the scale, the business of scaling something up just doesn't exist with Ferraris. I mean, people have this misconception that the money to be made is to work on Ferraris because they're so expensive, but in actuality, the rarity of them makes them difficult to work on because the knowledge isn't there, the materials, you can't buy stuff. If they made 100,000 Mustangs, at any given time. 200,000 Mustangs. So when you decide to make gaskets, yeah, I could probably sell 100 of them. In a year's time, I might use 2 or 3 of these gaskets, or 2 pairs of these gaskets. So there really isn't the effort and time to do this stuff just isn't there. But that's the update on the gaskets.